Good evening, good morning, or good afternoon, everyone, depending on your time zone. Welcome to Sisel's Doctor's Clinic. Hailing from Fargo, North Dakota, Dr. Kurt Fisnick is in the house. Doc Fizz, take it away.
All right. Rob, thank you. I just get a kick out of how you do that. That's funny. I'd probably rather if it was your real voice. Anyhow, hi, everyone. My name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick. I'm a chiropractor up in Fargo, North Dakota, and I have been practicing. Next year will be 30 years that I've been doing this, and really I got interested in natural medicine when my middle son, who's now 24, when he was just a baby. He kind of give you a little background here. He had eczema when he was born, and we were trying to find something. My ex and I were trying to find something that would cure him of that, and took him to some of the best dermatologists up here in our area, and they just said, well, put this cortisone cream on there, and hopefully he'll outgrow it. And for those of you that are parents, I mean, you shake your head when a doctor tells you that, because, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. So I kept looking for an answer and never really found the right answer for it. And about that time when I was really like sort of giving up, my son developed asthma. So we went from eczema to asthma, and then we're running him to the hospital at least once a week. He was turning blue, and I like to do stuff outdoors. And so I've got 3 boys, and I'd have to watch them so close and always have the inhalers. And I tried everything. And again, the doctors just weren't really much of a help with me. Here's some inhalers, here's this, here's that. But really just kind of covering up the symptoms. And we could get it a little bit better than that. But I remember there was this little old farmer guy that would come to my office, and he was kind of a pest almost. He would stop by the office, and he'd be trying to peddle products to me in the office, and I'd look at it, but I really wasn't interested. And then one day he stopped by, and he says, is there anybody that you have in your home or anywhere, in the practice here, that's just not getting better? And I thought, well, you know what? My son's not getting any better. And I told him the story, and I remember Donnie threw me a couple bottles of pills, and he said, here. He said, if they work, pay me for them. If they don't, give me the empty bottles. And I thought, well, there's a heck of an offer. I got to at least try. So I went home, and I gave my son those pills, and lo and behold, his asthma was gone in 4 months, and that was when he was about 11 years old. He's 24 now, so that's 13 years ago was the last time that he had an asthma attack. But I'll tell you, folks, for those of you that are listening to the story, I mean, it changed my opinion on network marketing products. And I started looking into the industry, and I realized that a lot of the products that are out there are higher quality than what you're going to find in any store. It's going to be higher quality than what these companies sell in doctors' offices. And that's not saying all of them, but some of them, right? And so I started learning how to watch for the real versus the unreal, the products that were going to make a difference and the ones that were just full of hype. And I always remember that story because it was my kid, and he got better. And so it got me into network marketing in the product end of things, and being a doctor, that's mainly what we do. And after my motorcycle accident 9 years ago, and I was in a wheelchair, I really had to get into doing something because, of course, the guy that ran me over didn't have any insurance. I didn't get a big settlement. I just got a $300,000 medical bill, and I was confined to a wheelchair for almost 2 years. And so I couldn't go back to my clinic. I couldn't work. And I thought, you know what? I've heard of people making money in this network marketing deal. And so I decided to try it. And one of the first things that I asked my mentor at that time was, what do I need to do first? And he said, find the right company. Find the right company. And so it took me a while. I actually looked for 4 years before I found Sisel, and I was telling some people at convention last weekend that I wish I had heard of Tom 20 years ago. I wish I had known the Mauers. I wish I'd known his old company, because I wonder how many lives I could have changed, maybe even saved a few, using some of his formulations. So tonight on the Doctor's Clinic call, I just really wanted to share with everybody a little bit about my background and why I'm doing this, and the things that I've seen, and maybe interest you in going out and working with a few people, and then share some information about the products, the new products that are coming out. But I'm not always, I guess, what you'd call politically correct, and I don't kind of follow the rules sometimes. But I was reading some studies, and they said that Lou Gehrig's disease was related to some heavy metal toxicity. And my friend has a buddy of hers that's dying from Lou Gehrig's disease, and I was down there with her one day, and the guy can just barely talk, and when he does talk, you can't understand him because the Lou Gehrig's disease is so bad. And I read this study that related to heavy metal toxicity, and I shared the products with him, the Triangle of Life. About a week before that, I'd given him the Triangle of Life, and he was starting to have some improvement. And then last week, after I read that study, I gave him a bottle of Body Shield. And really, I mean, I gave it to him. I gave him the products because he's living in a nursing home, and the nursing home is taking all of his Social Security check. They leave him with $30 a month for him to spend on himself. The rest goes to the nursing home, and so he wouldn't be able to afford the products. So I'm just giving them to him. And when I was down at the convention last weekend, I got a phone call, and his friend, who's my friend, our mutual friend, she called me up and she said that his speaking had improved 50%. She felt that it improved 50% over the course of those 4 days from when we added the Body Shield. And I'm sharing that with you because to me, it just made my heart race a little bit, just like when my son's asthma was gone. And I thought, that's a story that everybody's got to hear. Everybody's got to hear that. And will we be able to get those kind of results with everybody? Probably not. And that's why we can never use the word cure. We can never use the word treat, because it's not a drug. You can't guarantee that this is what's going to happen. But in his case, it did. And how many people would think to do that? And that's the kind of results that I saw. And we're working with another guy that has MS, multiple sclerosis. He's also had a stroke, and he's also broke his back. His nickname's probably Lucky, right? And but that's just a joke. That's another story. But anyhow, I started giving him the Triangle of Life and the Body Shield and the Encompass 360, and he hasn't walked in 5 years because of the multiple sclerosis. And we started doing that, and it's been a month now. And some of you keep up with me on Facebook, and he's walking 20 steps now every day, right? Again, to those of us that walk, the walkers of the world, 20 steps is no big deal, but when you haven't walked in 5 years, 20 steps is a lot. It's a big distance. And so what if we could do that with people? What if we could change that and make that kind of difference with people? That's what I'm talking about. So you hear these stories and you start going, well, I wonder if. People ask me all the time, when I'm sharing the stories of the product, they say, well, what if it doesn't work? And my answer always is, but what if it does? Right? What if it doesn't work, they'll say. And I ask them, But what if it does? And that's really what you have to start wondering, is that what if these products will make a difference? And those 4 products, the Triangle of Life and the Body Shield, together, those 4 are just, that's a powerhouse. That's a powerhouse of nutrition. And you can, I swear, you can change every single person's life with those 4 products and make huge differences. But we can't make any claims, so that's what you have to be careful of. Don't ever make any claims because you don't know. You can't say cure, you can't say treat, you can't diagnose. But what if it just improves my friend's quality of life so he can talk for just a short time? It's worth it. You know, it's worth it to me, and I know it's worth it to his family, and that's why I do what I do. And so when I talk on these calls, you know, I really enjoy it because I get to not only tell you the stories of what I'm working with, but I get to hear other people's stories about what they're seeing and what they're able to see. I mean, the stories that we had on what DW is called the house calls, when people share their testimonials. I mean, holy cow! I ran into Bill DeFalco this past weekend out in Utah, and I just told him, I said, I mean, his story is so fantastic. I mean, how he really has been battling heart disease for 50 years. And using the Triangle of Life now for just a few years, how much it's changed his life. He's been using it since 2009, and some of the stories of the people that he's working with, or Sarah Cully and Rachel, who both suffered from breast cancer, and now their breast cancer is gone. Again, we can't say cure. We can't even say these products did anything at all. And to me, it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, it doesn't matter what made the difference. Was it this? Was it that? I don't care, as long as the condition is getting better. And that's really how I look at it, is that as long as the person's getting better, let's stick with it. And so I'm working with some people right now, a family of 6. The mom and the dad and the 4 kids, they all have Lyme's disease, and using the Sisel immune product. Again, I can't say cure, I can't say treat, but when I was talking to Liz last night on my way back from Utah, driving back, she told me that every single person in the family, all 6 of them, are feeling better than they have in months. Well, that's huge to me. That means that what I'm doing is it's working. Something's working, and I like that. And I have a friend of mine that's got some lymphedema type problems, and her swelling went down in her leg. It decreased in size by 1 inch. Again, you know, to me, that's a huge big deal. That's really exciting to hear that. So anyhow, I thought I'd share that a little bit with you and kind of share some of the stories of the things that I'm working with and the people that I'm working with, and what we're seeing in their lives. But the other thing is that at the convention this weekend, we got to hear Tyler LeBaron. Tyler is the director. He's the guy that started the molecular hydrogen institute. And so he's. Let's do this one. Hang on 1 second. I got a client here.
Okay, I gotta go back further. Okay, now. You gotta raise up on it. All right, now it's not even doing it. Go away.
I'm working on a guy's shoulder up here, and so he had to come out and show me how much better his shoulder's doing. But anyhow, sorry about that. So Tyler LeBaron was talking about the diatomic hydrogen and how important it is in our lives, and he said that, you know, the studies really started about 10 years ago, and people are just really starting to pay attention to it. The researchers and the doctors and the scientists are really starting to pay attention to it now, and so the time has come. I mean, for those of you that have one, drink that water. It's that important. It's going to make a difference. And we're going to have bottles that we could put the water in, probably available within the next, I'm going to say within the next 4 to 6 weeks. So by summertime, you'll have them. And I don't try and tell people an exact date because we never know. But that'll be available. And then Tom introduced a new product. It's a vegan formula for a protein meal replacement. So for those clients of yours that don't want to do dairy and milk protein, we have a vegan formulation. It's got the Garcinia cambogia in it. It's got a high dose of Garcinia cambogia, and it's vanilla caramel flavored. I thought it tasted really, really good. I liked it, but it's vegan formula, so it's something that you can give to your friends who don't necessarily eat meat or dairy products and that. So it's made with pea protein. And then we have another product that it's called 4 Restore, and what it does, it boosts the nitric oxide levels in your body. And if those of you that are familiar with nitric oxide, it helps with the endothelium in the blood vessels, but it helps lower blood pressure as well, and it helps out with sexual function both in men and women. So it kind of works like I guess the way I took it is it works sort of like a Viagra for both sexes. And so that product's out right now. We can order that. And we have a product that helps with burning belly fat. It's specifically designed. I looked up the research today, and every single piece of research that I read on it, it said for some reason it targets the fat around the midsection. It targets that fat. Because in the past, when you lose weight, you really don't target it, but this targets the belly fat. It's called forskolin. And so that product, it's not in the catalogs yet. I was just online looking on the online catalog, but you can order it. You'll have to call the order in for that. It's called forskolin. And then we have a green coffee bean extract. We have a tablet that's green coffee bean. So for those people who don't want to drink coffee, you can get the extra metabolism boost, the caffeine boost with the green coffee bean. And so that one's available. And then we came out with a product that targets cellulite, and it burns the cellulite. It's a pill formula, and I was telling somebody about it yesterday on my ride home. As I was driving, I was talking to somebody about it, and I said how it works is that it helps to melt the cellulite. But if you understand what cellulite is that when fat cells kind of pop through between the fibrous tissue, and so what this does, it increases the strength of the fibers, so it pushes it kind of back in, but it melts that fat. And at the same time, there's an ingredient called Gotu-Kola, and you're probably familiar with that because it's in our coffee. But this Gotu-Kola increases the circulation into the fat cells, because fat cells typically don't have very good circulation. And so it works to help with that. So think about that. It helps to strengthen up the fibrous tissue, so it kind of pushes those fat cells back out of it. It melts the fat cells, and it increases the vascularity, and increases the circulation, which is something that's missing in fatty tissue. So it works on that. And if you combine it with Tom's topical product, the Sisel's topical product called I'm just having a brain fart all of a sudden. I can't think of the name of the product. But you rub it, Recurve, it's called, Recurve. And you rub it on, and it melts the cellulite from the outside. So this product is called Refigure. So you got Recurve and Refigure for cellulite. And from the formulation, I've read up on it. I think it's going to be an awesome product. I've got a couple gals up here in my area. They're going to give it a try, and I told them, I said I picked some up. There's no shipping involved with it because I picked it up when I was there, and so I'm just going to sell it to them at that cost and create a customer base with it on that product. And then they've taken and they put the exfolium into sample packs, and they put the mineral foundation for women, the foundation, that's in sample packs now. And then we've got a new product, an ionizer that you can plug in, and it cleans the air in your house and in your car. I ordered one for my car because I like to hunt, and I'm a typical guy. The car doesn't always smell all that nice, and you put that in there, and it cleans that up. And then, of course, we have a product that you can order now. It's not available exactly right now, but you can pre-order it, and it's I guess it looks like a bicycle helmet, and it's got the lasers, the infrared lasers and LEDs, and then it's got the applicator, the brush, built right into this bicycle looking helmet thing, and it makes your hair grow. So instead of having to use the brushes, you just wear this helmet for 15 minutes, and it does it all right there. So it's got enough of the lasers that go all the way around your head all at once, and it works that way. And so those are really the main products that I heard about when I was down at the convention. To me, they're all, I think they're exciting products. I mean, products that can melt the belly fat. Who wouldn't want that? Products that can improve the libido and the testosterone, and a vegan formula for meal replacement, protein shake to help lose weight, and the green coffee bean, and so we've got a lot of different products that we can add to our repertoire of already the great products. Bottom line is that when I'm out working though, and I'm telling people about the different products, I'll tell you the three top products that I still talk about the most are the same three products that are the top sellers with Sisel. The Triangle of Life, we got the Fucoidan, and we spent quite a lot of time this weekend talking about Fucoidan and how powerful it is. I mean, when you start looking at that product, when Tom came out, that was the first product that Sisel ever had, and it's still the #1 selling product. And there's a reason for that. And the reason that Tom got 3 Genius Awards with that product is because it works. It works better than any other product of its kind. It improves the immune system, and it gets rid of inflammation. I use that product and dang near everybody that I work with. I always suggest that product because in every component of almost every chronic disease, there's an inflammatory component. So I really like that product. I dig that product. The other one that I almost always recommend for people is Spectramax, because most of the people, by the time they come to me, they've already exhausted a lot of their other options. They've already gone to the medical doctor, and they've gone to the specialist, and they've gone here and they've gone there. And according to Linus Pauling, who got the Nobel Prize twice, he said that if you have a chronic health problem, chances are you're missing a few of your essential trace minerals. And when you talk about essential trace minerals, essential means that your body needs them. Your body needs them. If you're missing even one, it can mess up a metabolic process. And so Linus Pauling says that most people are missing 5 or more. Harvard Medical Study found the same thing, that the average person is missing 5 or more of their essential trace minerals. Harvard Medical went on to say that that when you're looking at the population of the United States, only 3% of us are really what you would consider to be healthy. 97% of us are what we consider to be unhealthy. And so if you're a gambling person, if you like to place bets on things, you got to play the odds. And if you're playing the odds, you got to guess that you're part of the 97%. You wouldn't say, "Oh, I'm part of the 3%. I'm not going to take any of that stuff. I don't need it." And that's a gamble. You're saying you're part of the 3%. If you have a chronic health problem, the first thing you should say is, maybe I should take a look at that Spectramax product, 74 trace minerals with fulvic acid. And you've heard me talking about fulvic acid on this call. Not folic acid, F-O-L-I-C. It's fulvic, F-U-L-V-I-C, fulvic acid. What it does, it makes it possible for your body to absorb minerals. And that's what it's for. So it's in the product with our 74 trace essential minerals. But there's also 40 antioxidants in there. It's probably our strongest antioxidant formula that Sisel has in that drink. And I tell people when I give them a shot of that, when I do a taste and talk and I give them a shot. I tell them, I said, now be ready. This one has a little bit of a strong taste to it. It's not juicy like the Fucoid or the Eternity. I mean, it's more vitamin-y or medicine-y, whatever you want to say. It's strong because it's powerful. And so I always recommend that one. But the other one that I've really been recommending, especially since February, when we had Rachel and Sarah Cully do their testimonials, and Bill DeFalco's testimonial, and Michael Collier's testimonial on all that Eternity does. I have to throw Eternity into the mix. I can't let people get by with just the Fucoid and the Spectramax. I have to tell them, man, if I were you, I'd throw this in there too if you can. And we're all exposed to heavy metals and toxins, according to a friend of mine that works at the National Institutes of Health in Maryland, works for the federal government, the National Institutes of Health. He said that almost 100% of chronic disease is somehow related to toxic heavy metal poisoning. I mean, think about that. Almost 100% of chronic disease is related to heavy metal toxicity. So wouldn't you be a fool not to add Body Shield to your mix? So those are the four that I use probably the most of everything. I love all the other products, as you can tell, but so that's really what I wanted to share tonight. And I know I'm getting done just a little bit early, a couple minutes early. It makes up for the last time when I ran a little bit long. So I'll close it with that. Everybody, thanks for joining us for the Sisel Doctors Clinic. Those of you that are listening to the recording, thanks for listening, and pass this on to people. Maybe you'll help somebody's life. Maybe you'll change a life or two just by letting them hear this. So thank you. And Rob, thanks for recording it and getting that out on the SiselDoctorsClinic.com website right away. I always appreciate that, man. You're prompt and ready to get that out there for everybody. So have a great Tuesday evening, and I'll be back next week.